ग्लोबल स्किल डेवलपमेंट मिशन में आपका स्वागत है।
So, as you saw from the previous exercise, removing red eye from your photographs is super easy stuff. There really isn't a whole lot to it. Unless, of course, you want your friends and family members and pets to look like demon hellspawns or something. But in any regard, I'm going to close out of the red eye image. What I want to do now is I want to introduce you to a new tool inside Photoshop called the Clone Stamp tool. It's actually not new to Photoshop, it's going to be new to us, but this guy's been around for a long, long time, and I think a lot of people think of this tool when they think of Photoshop. What we can do with this tool essentially is touch up our images. As the name implies, we can clone part of our image and copy it over to another location inside the same image or even into a different image. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head back into my project files folder. I've gone and given us another new file called screw.jpg. Go ahead and pop this guy open inside Photoshop. And this photo, by the way, has been graciously given to us or provided to us by Photospin, photospin.com, which is a really great resource if you're looking for stock imagery, stock photography, and so on for your different design projects. All right. So the Clone Stamp tool, here we go. He's this guy way down inside the toolbox. Oftentimes I lovingly refer to him as the rubber stamp tool. Go ahead and grab this guy. Now, this tool, like some of the tools we've already been introduced to, is brush-based. Notice my cursor is now a tiny circle on screen. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to head up to the options bar, right to the top left here, and I'm going to crank up the size of my brush. As always, I really have no idea how large I want my brush, but maybe something like that. Or don't forget, you can also use your square bracket keys on your keyboard to increase and decrease the size of your brush. Okay? All right. Now this guy's really easy to work with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my cursor over top of the screw head, okay? And I'm going to hold down Alt or Option and single click with my tool, and then I'll let go of Alt or Option. Now what that does is that sets the sample point, or the point inside the image that we're working on that's going to get copied. Okay, or the starting point at least. When I move my cursor away, notice that copied area wants to follow me around, right? And if I start clicking and dragging inside another area of the image, I can quite literally start painting in using the copied source. If you look back on the original object, the original screw head there, as I'm clicking and dragging with my mouse, if you look back on the original screw head now, you'll notice a crosshair. It's telling me that this is where the sample source is coming from. Now I can sample from just below the screw, something like this, and quite literally start cloning in the image into another location inside the same image. Pretty cool stuff. If I want to start again, head back to the screw head, Alt or Option single click, and then away I go again. Okay? There are so many different applications for this tool. The one that I saw recently, actually it just came to mind, was spray paint on the side of a tree to mark a path. So we took a photograph of this really nice nature path, but you want to get rid of the spray paint on the side of the tree, so it was a simple job for the Clone Stamp tool. Or maybe graffiti on the side of a building, or oil stains on a driveway or on a road, something like that. Okay? As a matter of fact, give me a second here. I'm going to head back to my project files folder, because I have another image that we can work on here called tarmac.jpg. Go ahead and open this guy up. And as you might guess, this is a photograph of a tarmac at an airport. Again, provided to us by Photospin. Now, this guy, I'm going to zoom in quite a bit on this guy. And if you look down towards kind of the bottom left area of the screen, there's all sorts of oil stains and marks all over the tarmac here. We could clean this up using our Clone Stamp tool. Now, notice that I'm still getting the screw head inside my cursor. I could paint inside this new image with the source that you and I had sampled from the previous image, which for me at least is still kicking around inside the background. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to use my left square bracket key just to shrink down the size of my brush, something like this, okay? I'm not really sure how small I want to go here. Maybe something like this. I'm going to hold down Alt or Option to sample once again. I'm going to go after some of the blemishes and marks that we see here. Holding down Alt or Option, and I'm just going to single click. And again, don't forget, that sets the clone source. Now I can just start clicking and dragging inside my image to remove these blemishes, something like that. Okay? There we go. And then I might work my way around the image, something like this, and maybe up into these areas and into the shadows. And I could spend, probably a good, at least an hour on this image cleaning it all up. This sort of stuff does take time, of course. In any regard, there's your clone stamp tool. I really want you to get comfortable with this tool because he's so applicable in so many different situations. When you're comfortable working with this tool, I want to show you this tool's siblings, namely the Spot Healing Brush tool, the Healing Brush, and also the Patch tool as well. I'll show you those guys next.